this is the heated moment that led up to the incident, which we will describe for you and offer some opinions from the legal Andrew, angle, which Andrew will be great at providing some feedback on. And I want to talk about it from the perspective of divorce and my experience dealing with family law and a lot of the guys that I deal with, because I've coached hundreds of dudes now that are high net worth individuals dealing with conflict and high conflict divorce. There's a lot of acrimony and fighting back and forth when the kids get picked up on all that sort of stuff. And I got some thoughts on that too. So you've probably researched this way better than I have. So do you want to like tell the story on what happened here, with this particular incident?
Yeah, sure. And once again, guys, there's lots of videos out there. I've done some on my channel, A Legal Mindset. There's many other lawyers that have gone out there and analyzed this in terms of the self-defense analysis, in terms of at the end of the day, once the shoot happens, was this a good shoot or not a good shoot? I'm not going to go into depth on that, but I'll just give a very 30,000 foot overview. So there's two gentlemen. There's Kyle Carruth, who's the guy, or Carruth. People say it different. I'll just say Kyle. Right. So Kyle is the guy with the gun, right?
That's this guy on the left here.
Yes. The guy on the left is Kyle. He's the one holding the gun. We think it's a 22 caliber based on the fact that when it fires, it is very, very silent. The guy in the teal shirt, who's a bit larger, his name is Chad. That's his actual name. I'm not calling him a Chad.
He's the Chad, though.
Yeah, he is Chad.
He was the Chad, actually, but yeah.
Yes, was. R.I.P. He was the guy who was going nipple to nipple, as I say there, to the guy's chest, nipple to nipple.
It's more like nipple to shoulder in this. It's
the height difference.
But yeah.
So Chad had come over to pick up his kid. Now, here's the thing, and we're going to get into this fact. Let me just get through the facts here. But Chad came over to pick up his kid. Now, he went over to Kyle's place of habitation and occupation. So this is the house where Kyle, the guy with the gun, lives and works. Now,
he was the boyfriend of the mom of the children, though, right?
Yes. So Kyle is dating his employee, who is the mother. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, this is a double bad scenario, Rich. So he's dating his employee, who is the mother of Chad's child. So Chad,
he's dating an employee single mommy.
Yes. And Chad is now remarried to a single mommy who's in the car. And one of these videos that's recorded of this is recorded by the single mom that Chad is remarried to. So both of them are remarried to single moms, right?
Do we, by the way, know what kind of business this guy was running out of this house over here?
So they call him a landman, right? Now, I don't know exactly what that qualifies as in Texas. Maybe if there's some Texans out there, shout out to my Texans, what a landman means exactly, whether they're just taking care. I believe landsman, Landsman. The definition on Merriam-Webster is a person who lives on the land, especially.
There's a farmer.
Yeah, like a farmer.
Because I could have sworn I heard chickens or something clucking in the background when she was filming, right?
Yeah, I think rancher would be appropriate.
Okay,
right?
All right.
So he's a rancher, Texas guy, right? And the video plays out where Chad shows up and he is yelling at, actually, no, before that. Sorry, before it
looked like he was having a conversation with the kid's mom about where the kid was. It was 3:15, and she said something along the lines, if I heard it correctly, that he's not here, but I wanted to spend more time with him. And he's like, well, it's 3:15, it's my time. You want to spend more time, you spend it with him on your time, right?
Yes. So he comes in and he's yelling about the 3:15. He's 3 hours late, at this point. So 3 hours late at this point.
Meaning it was around 6:15 at this time when this happened?
About 6:15 at the time of the incident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kyle is initially outside on his porch and he tells Chad, hey, get off my property, right? Like, leave. And Chad says, I'm not going anywhere. So at that point, Kyle very calmly turns around and goes inside. About 30 seconds later, in that whole 30 seconds, Chad has continued to berate the mom. He's attacking the mom. He's saying that he's going to subpoena everybody. He's going to bring him to court. He's got police that are coming to the mom's parents' house. I mean, just threatening them with court process. But
did the child live at that house? Like, was that a residence/business or?
The child was not at that house. The child was actually somewhere else. We don't know whether it was for sure at her mother's house.
Okay.
That's the assumption. But the child was not there.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, him being there, he wasn't going to get the child because the child was not there. So after about 30 seconds of Chad yelling at the mother, the single mom, and berating her, now she's standing off to the side, just kind of, coming up with excuses. And Kyle comes back out with the gun. And as soon as Chad sees Kyle with the gun, he gets up in his face. He goes then to the infamous photo, nipple to nipple, nipple to shoulder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gets up in his face and he says, something along the lines of, if you're going to bring it out, you better fucking use it, or I'm going to take it and use it on you.
Right.
So he threatens to use the gun on him. Now, at that point, Kyle fires a warning shot. Now, to be very clear, this is something that's unambiguous in law in any state. There's no such thing as a warning shot, guys. You don't fire warning shots. Like, we're not in the military here. This isn't like, that we're scaring off some Taliban, right? This is...
And it wasn't up in the air. It looked like it was at his feet, right?
Into the porch, right? He fired it at his feet into the porch.
Yeah.
Right? So at that point, when he fires the round, Chad begins to grab the gun, right? He goes for the gun. And there's kind of some shoving. And the result is that Kyle is shoved off the porch, which is relevant under Texas law because there's certain provisions that relate to defense of property, and your front porch is legally considered part of what's called the curtilage, or a heavily used area of your house, which is considered part of your habitation, part of your home. So it's almost as if Chad threw him through the bedroom window, right? Yeah. It took you from inside your house to out. That's actually relevant analysis under Texas law.
He went back a few feet, like I would say, a good 6 feet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He threw him a good distance.
Yeah.
And then the whole, thing after that is that he's thrown off the porch, and within about a second, Kyle lines up a shot and shoots him, and he's dead. Shoots him twice, and Chad is dead, right? And then proceeds to afterwards talk to the girl who's dating Chad, who was filming it from her angle, and said, right, I told you not to come. I told him to leave, this and that. They have a conversation. Yeah. But the legal question has been, is it justified? Is it not justified? I took the position that it's more lawful but awful, right? Like under Texas law, I think it was lawful, but like morally, ethically, yeah, I mean, okay, shouldn't have probably shot the guy, right? And both parties were in the wrong here. But I think that's a self-defense analysis. What I wanted to come to you is that there's a lot of issues in here for family law. And one thing I got really worked up on, is Chad is here and he's talking about the court process. He's talking about subpoenaing people. He's talking about the police, but he's there physically himself trying to get the kid. Mm-hmm. That's something we call in the United States, we call that self-help, right? Self-help, which is you are trying to go in and enforce this court order yourself. So one thing that's not permitted in the United States generally, I mean, I haven't found a jurisdiction that is. If there's any American lawyers out there that know it, please message me, andrewesquirelive@gmail.com, or drop a comment on my channel. I haven't found one that allows you to go and get the kid if the mom is late with the kid, right? You call the police, you go to the court, you do something, but you don't go and get them yourself. So I think starting out, there's a massive family law issue. There's like glaring family law issue, like right up front, is that you have to use the court process. You can never go and try to use the court order that says, here's the parenting plan. Mm-hmm. Drop off at 9 a.m. in the morning and pick up at 3:15 p.m. You can't say, okay, they're late. Let me bust down the door, come in someone's house and get the kid because they're late, right?
How old was the kid, by the way? Do you know?
I would have to look into it. I know that those facts are somewhere. I believe the kid was like 4 or 6 years old. Young. So very young.
Andrew and I were talking before we went live. If you guys can let us know in the comments, do you guys know what caliber that is? Because we're thinking it's either 22 or a 9mm. It's very difficult to tell. It's very quiet. Like when you listen to the footage, it doesn't give, like, it's definitely not a 223. It's not a 45. I own a 45. It's not that loud. I mean, it's like, I was surprised to see him. Like, I thought it was actually like a BB gun when I heard it go off in the video the first time. I was like, oh, there's no way that, like, he's hurt, because I saw him go down and then he wasn't moving. I'm like, hang on a second. Like, what's going on here? Eric says it's a 223 here. which I don't think it was, because I've shot 223s and they're really loud.
It's way louder than that. If it's an AR in 223, you would hear it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Barrett says it's a 9mm, but I
I
don't know
believe
that
9mm.
a 22 would, like, is it possible for a guy to drop and not move with 2 shots from a 22?
It's possible. Is it likely? No. But is it possible? I mean, yes, it's possible, right?
Chad Faust in the comments says a 9mm rifle, it's pretty rare, right? They sell 9mm rifles for sure. Mm-hmm. I know they do, because they sell them here in Canada. They're semi-automatics and they're non-restricted.
Yeah.
But anyway, it says here in the comments it was a Ruger 9mm takedown. Okay, so there you go.
Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Actually,
a 9mm would make sense. A 22 doesn't make too much sense. But anyway, so from the self-defense perspective, you're saying he was in the right. He was in the right to defend himself.
Well, this is the lawyer split. So let me get into it here. So some lawyers go frame by frame and say, because he waited a little bit, because there's kind of a pause, he kind of, even though he was thrown, he took a second to line it up. Yeah, they're saying that that's unjustified. So there's lawyers out there that'll say, there's this whole law tube thing now. A lot of lawyers out there. Some lawyers will say, hey, it's unjustified, right? Under the law. My position, and I think the position that most lawyers that read Texas law and understand Texas law and have gone into it, I'm not a Texas lawyer, but I'm just a lawyer who can read, right? Is that under Texas law, it's justified. The other thing is that this is the big fact of this case, is that the family of Chad Reed, the guy who died, right? They released this video in order to try to push the prosecutor to file charges. This is in Lubbock, Texas. The prosecutor hasn't filed charges. Now, one thing people are saying is they haven't filed charges because no jury is going to convict. Even if this was wrong under Texas law, people in Lubbock generally, and I've had a lot of people reach out from Texas and say, yeah, this is behavior that, it may not look right. It's white trash, but it's known that if you go on someone's property in Texas, you might get shot. So a jury, is very pro 2A. They're not going to convict on this. And I have a personal opinion that we should not be going with frame by frame shots to justify whether something is good or bad shoot. That's my personal opinion. There are some court cases that back that up, that say that frame by frame analysis is not the way we need to break things down, because humans don't react on a frame by frame basis. That's my personal opinion, right? And I think it's backed up by law. But there's lawyers. I'm not saying there's not lawyers that'll argue something completely different, because there's lawyers that'll argue a different position.